Gravity Falls Season 3 might actually be happening. And I know that sounds like something you have heard 100 times before, but stick with me here because the evidence building up right now is different from anything we have seen in the past 10 years. By the end of this video, you will know exactly what is going on behind the scenes, when we might realistically see new episodes, and there is one detail near the end that completely changes how we should interpret everything Alex Hirsch has been doing lately. Okay, so let us start with where we are right now. It is 2026, and there is still no official announcement for a third season. Nothing confirmed. Nothing from Disney, nothing from Alex Hirsch directly saying, yes, we are making it. But here's the thing, there is so much happening behind the scenes that pretending nothing is going on would be kind of ridiculous at this point. The real question is not whether something is being planned. The question is when we will actually see it, and honestly, whether it will even happen at all. Now, let me walk you through why so many people are genuinely hopeful this time around, because there are some pretty serious signs. Alex Hirsch's social media activity over the past year has been weird. And I mean weird in a good way. This is a guy who normally posts maybe once a month, sometimes less, but lately he's been way more active, specifically with Gravity Falls content. Cryptic messages, old character sketches he's sharing again, short videos where he's doing the Bill Cipher voice. Now, what does this actually mean? Look, there are two ways to read this. Either he's just having fun with nostalgia and messing with fans because, let's be honest, the guy loves to troll, or he's laying groundwork for something bigger, preparing people, getting the fan base excited before a real announcement drops. I lean toward the second option, but I'm not going to pretend the first one is impossible because this is Alex Hirsch we're talking about. But the voice cast activity is what really got my attention. Jason Ritter has been posting studio photos, not saying what project, not giving any details, just photos that clearly show he's recording something. Kristen Schaal mentioned in an interview that she's working on a project she really missed. Didn't say what it was. Now, could these be for something else entirely? Sure, absolutely. But the timing is suspicious. Both of them getting active around the same period, both being vague in exactly the same way, that feels coordinated. And then there's Disney's whole animation strategy right now. Disney Plus has been leaning hard into nostalgic content, bringing back old franchises. Phineas and Ferb came back, Kim Possible got new stuff. Gravity Falls fits perfectly into that pattern. From a business perspective, it makes total sense for Disney to revive it. But here's the critical thing. Just because something makes sense doesn't mean it will happen. Disney makes weird decisions all the time, so we can't take this as confirmation of anything. All right, now let's talk about dates, because this is what everyone really wants to know. If Season 3 is actually in production, when could we realistically see it? To answer that, we need to understand how animation production works. A single episode of an animated show takes roughly 9 to 12 months from start to finish. You have script writing, then storyboarding, then voice recording, then actual animation, then post-production. For a show like Gravity Falls, that timeline is probably even longer because every single frame has hidden messages and ciphers and little details that need to be planned way in advance. That's not something you can rush. So, if production started in early 2025, which some rumors suggest, then the earliest we could see anything would be summer or fall of 2026. Now, here's an interesting thought. The original series premiered in June 2012. A return in June or July 2026 would be the 14th anniversary. Disney loves anniversary marketing. That would be a compelling story to sell. Hey, Gravity Falls is back exactly 14 years after it started. I could see them doing that. But wait, before you get too excited, there are some serious reasons to be cautious. First, Alex Hirsch is a perfectionist. The guy doesn't release things until he's completely satisfied. He's fought with Disney before over creative control. If the content isn't ready, he'll delay it. I don't care what release date Disney wants. He'll push back. Second, and this is important, there is no official announcement yet. Disney typically announces big projects 6 to 8 months before release. If summer 2026 was the target, we probably should have heard something by now. We haven't. That either means the project doesn't exist or Disney is planning some kind of surprise reveal. Both possibilities are on the table. Third, we don't have concrete proof that production has started. Yeah, there are studio photos, yeah, there are cryptic posts, but those could literally be for anything. We want it to be Gravity Falls so badly that we're connecting dots that might not actually connect. That's called confirmation bias, and we need to be aware of it. Let me give you some different scenarios and how likely I think each one is. The optimistic scenario. Production is happening right now, and Disney will make a surprise announcement in the coming months. We get new episodes by summer 2026. I would put this at about 30%. Possible, but far from certain. The moderate scenario, and honestly, this feels most likely to me. Production is happening, but it will not be ready for summer. We're looking at fall 2026 or maybe early 2027. A Halloween release would actually make perfect sense because some of the most iconic Gravity Falls episodes were Halloween themed. That matches the show's vibe perfectly. I am putting this at around 40%. The cautious scenario. The project is still in early development. Maybe scripts are being written, maybe deals with Disney are still being negotiated. Nothing is actually in production yet. Release would be 2027 or later. That is about 20% in my estimation. And then there is the pessimistic scenario. The project never happens. Alex Hirsch changes his mind, Disney pulls out, all these clues we are seeing turn out to be for something else entirely. I put this at only 10%. Low, but not zero. We have to acknowledge the possibility. Now, here is some of the most recent information floating around. Over the past few weeks, there have been some interesting posts on animation industry forums. Some users are claiming there's movement at Disney television animation related to Gravity Falls. And here's the thing about these users. Some of them have accurately leaked information before. They have track records. But I still have to label this as unverified, because at the end of the day, anyone can post anything online. We need to stay critical. The Book of Bill is another factor we should not ignore. That book is packed with hidden messages and ciphers that seem to set up future storylines. Alex Hirsch did not write that thing just for nostalgia. There's intention behind it. Something is being planned. But whether that something is a new season or a movie or some completely different format, we genuinely do not know yet. And if Disney is going to make an official announcement, the most likely places would be D23 or San Diego Comic-Con. Those events usually happen in summer. If we get an announcement at one of those events in 2026, then a release in late 2026 or early 2027 becomes very realistic. But if those events come and go with nothing about Gravity Falls, then either the project is way earlier in development than we thought, or it simply doesn't exist. Okay, here's my honest assessment after looking at everything. Is Gravity Falls Season 3 going to happen? I think yes. I would put the chances somewhere between 60 and 70%. That's pretty high. And the reason I feel that confident is because there are just too many signs pointing in the same direction. Alex Hirsch's behavior, the voice cast activity, Disney's content strategy, the setup and Book of Bill, all of that being coincidence feels unlikely. But when will we actually see it? That's where things get uncertain. Summer 2026 is possible, but I wouldn't bet on it. Fall 2026 or sometime in 2027 feels more realistic based on how animation production timelines work. And I want to be completely honest with you. None of us have confirmed information. We're all just reading clues and making educated guesses. There's one more thing I want to mention, and this is the detail I said would change how we interpret everything. Alex Hirsch has always been very protective of Gravity Falls. He ended the show on his own terms after 2 seasons because he felt the story was complete. For him to come back means something significant has to have changed. Either he found a new story worth telling, or the conditions at Disney have shifted enough that he feels comfortable returning. That's not a small thing. The fact that all these signs exist suggests Alex himself might actually want this to happen, and that matters more than anything Disney does. So, what do we do now? We wait, but we wait with reasonable hope. Not blind optimism, not cynical dismissal, somewhere in the middle. I'm going to be covering every new development as it comes. When an announcement finally drops, you will hear about it immediately. And in my next video, we're going to dive into the story theories. Could Bill Cipher actually come back after what happened? Will Dipper and Mabel be older now, and how would that change the show? What secrets might Ford's new journal contain? Those are the questions we'll be exploring. In Gravity Falls, nothing is ever certain. But honestly, that uncertainty is part of what makes this whole thing so exciting. The mystery keeps going even when the show isn't on air. And maybe that's exactly how Alex Hirsch wants it.